Hey there, Hope here. I'm working on a pet portrait of Luca. He is currently available at Second Chance Animal Shelter in Colombia, and he's waiting for his forever home. I'm hoping to create portraits of adoptable pets to help raise awareness for them, and support from my local Patreon will help me do that. Keep watching to hear more about it and see Luca's portrait take shape. Let's get started. I am finishing up the grid for a pet sketch, and today's pet sketch is of Luca, who is available through Second Chance right now. So if you are looking for a forever friend, this one may be for you. I love this photo that they took. Yeah, it's just amazing. Let's see, I need to do a couple more lines, so let me do those. And I'll just spend some time working while we see if we get people in. This Z right here really encompasses the way this dog is sitting, and I think that's why I love it so much. And today I am using water-soluble graphite to do this. First I'm gonna pull back some of it because that will make it easier down the road when I no longer need these lines. Looking at my glove, I haven't washed it, so I'm gonna turn it inside out. This paper is Arch's watercolor paper. It's a block, something I decided to try on a whim, because as I'm doing more wet media in some of my underpaintings, I'm getting a lot of buckling in my paper, and that is causing problems. So I got this to work with another project, and I thought, well, let's use it for this too, because things just look better when they're all nice and flat. So I'm just going to sketch for now. I will keep an eye out for anything in the chat box. Did I not do that line properly? Whole lot of legs in here, all four of them. There is a lot going on in this image, and it's just going to look like a hot mess for a while. The hardest part about this one is just getting all that information simplified so that the essentials can really sing. The black values in there, the darkest I've got over here showing now with my grid is a 4-level poster version of the grayscale. So I use that to help me really see all of the different value shapes going on, because that's what's going to define the form, not the details. So I'm going through and doing the darkest, or the number 1 value if you're looking at a value scale. As I get these values in here, some of these shapes will start taking form. I can also come in and erase any lines I don't need, especially this grid. There'll still be enough of it there if later I'm like, wait a minute, I forgot something, or something's not making sense. There's just enough to help me to figure that out. Well, and of course somebody is chainsawing right outside my house, so if you hear that, that's what's going on. Starting to come along now, I think. What is this? This is a 4B. To get this back area good and dark, since it is a large mass of the darkest value. Alright, let's get out the water brush. I want kind of a big one, I think, to keep me from doing too many details. So this handy little gadget, it's got a reservoir in there with water in it, and I'm going to use it to activate that water-soluble graphite. So you see it really change and get darker. Still like to hatch these marks. I find that gives it, well, I like the look. It gives a lot more depth when it's not just a flat wash. Yeah? And while I'm doing this, I'm going to try and talk about Patreon. If you've been following me on Instagram or any other social media, you've probably seen me posting about it. I've been posting a lot this month. And the reason for that is this is my 7th Patreon anniversary. I've been posting to Patreon regularly for 7 years. My Patreon page has gone through a lot of changes over those 7 years. The most recent being this year, where I am kind of converting it to be about my pet portrait work, and there are some other projects that I also post on there. So depending at what level you decide to join at, you get different perks. One of them being monthly studio updates. So what I've been working on, a little behind the scenes kind of stuff. Occasionally there's polls. I know everyone gets poll fatigue, so I try not to do those too much. And then level up from that, and you get advance notice of new artwork. So before I make it publicly known or publicly available, you get to see it. Up from that, you get weekly peeks into what I am working on at that moment in the studio. I try to keep it short, just little bites. The first of the month, you get a little video of me talking about it, and then the other 3 updates in a month are just little photos, what's going on in that moment, and a little blurb of text. Just kind of keep you update with some extra behind the scenes stuff if you're interested. You would also have the ability to leave comments or questions if you had any. My top tier right now gets you a small piece of art in the mail every other month. And your first post, or your first, whisker post is what I call it. The first one you get at the beginning of the year or whenever you join, you would also get a handmade accordion file-like keeper to keep them in, so that they've got a nice place to be when they're not being displayed. Kat is a long-time member of that level, and she said it was a really handy thing to have so that she could switch out what she has on her desk and know that everything else had a safe place. Now, maybe you're like, well, that's nice, but what the heck is Patreon? Well, Patreon is a membership platform, first and foremost, that allows people to, or it allows art patrons, art supporters, to support their favorite creators in a way that works for them. You know, it's not something that you're committed to any length of time on, for the most part. Now, some artists have tiers where it's like, okay, to take advantage of this one, you do need to be a member of it for a certain amount. I don't have any of those right now. So anyway, month to month you can change it. If you're like, yeah, I want to be your top tier for a month or for a couple of months, but then something happens and you need to change to a lower tier, that's absolutely fine. So Patreon makes that possible. You can subscribe, pledge any monthly amount, and change that as you need. What do I get? For example, a creator, an artist on Patreon, well, I get direct contact with my most dedicated fans. It gives us a special community to build and to support. It gives me a place to share my studio practice. My studio practice has really evolved thanks to this. So just the act of sharing it gives me another way to think about it and have people ask me questions. So if something's not making sense, outside my head, then I kind of get that heads up, and that's really nice. Also gives me a little consistent income because, as you probably know, being an artist is not always consistent. I've got big peaks and valleys in the income streams due to different seasons, like fair season, which is coming up. I'm going to be at Queenie Park next month. It'll be my first time there, so a lot of what I'm doing right now is getting ready for that. And that's something that I would share with patrons. That's kind of a bit about what Patreon is all about, what I'm doing there. If you want to follow me as a free member on Patreon, I try and post a couple times a month about things like, what arts come out and things that exciting things that have gone on, like some sales that I've had recently, which is always exciting. So you can do that too. So since this month is my 7th anniversary on there, I thought I've been thinking about changing things up there for a long time, but wanted to really think it out a bit. And since I'm enjoying creating pet portraits so much, and people also seem to be enjoying having them done, I'm like, okay, let's focus in on, let's lean into that, as the saying goes. Focus my Patreon on that for the next 5 to 7 years, yeah? So I try not to change it up very often. But when I started thinking about this, it really felt right. It felt like the way my art and creativity were going. My current patrons were like, you know, whatever brings you joy, whatever direction your art is taking you, we want you to do that, and we want to see it. So that is super cool, and just super amazing to have people supporting my art like that. People supporting me. It's very, very validating, very humbling. You know, look at this. I'm just going to continue building values little by little, kind of hopping from place to place, because I want to make sure things are dry before I put some more down, because I want a smoother look to them. I'll probably come in later on down the line and do some watercolor washes on top of this to add some color and some value. I don't know that I will get to those today. Start tackling this value shape where the ear is, the eye, and change in coloring on its face. Such a sweet face. So I've had 2 of the 3 water brushes that I've got. I've had them for so long. So these things, if you were thinking about them, but kind of on the fence, wondering if they last. These are Pentel, I think. No, Sakura. The new one I got is a Pentel. All right, we're starting to come into focus a little bit. It just takes time and patience. And a different pencil. Let's see. That was an HB. This is a 2B. And let's see if that will do anymore. It's not wanting to. Arm. One thing I want to mention about Patreon is that for the rest of March, I'm going to be doing an incentive that anyone who signs up, this will be new or current patrons. So if you're a new member and you sign up this month, March 2025, I will send you a little piece of art in the mail as a special thank you for signing up during my 7th anniversary celebration. If you are a current patron and you upgrade during this month, I will also send you a small piece of art in the mail, just as a little thank you, because it really does mean a whole lot to me to be able to do this and share it with people. So I'll be doing that. They'll be around 4x6 size so that I can mail them to you. I will send them in a little envelope with a handwritten letter, kind of like I do for the Whiskers and Wonders post. So if you like that kind of thing, you might consider supporting me at that tier. I like getting little things in the mail every once in a while. This brush is feeling a little dry. Let me give it, see if I can get it going. Sometimes they're either too wet or too dry. How about, I'll tell you about pet portraits, and if you were interested in having me do one for you, what is the process? Well, first thing you do is let me know. Send me an email. Hey, Hope, I would like you to do a portrait for me. And then I have a nifty little thing that I email you to help you give me information. I let you know the price. I can do it in something like this. I can do regular graphite. I can do soft pastels. I can do charcoal. And once we've agreed on that, then if it's something like a soft pastel portrait, then there is a deposit, non-refundable. Something like this, where it's not going to take me very long, then it's just a single charge, and that gets you on my schedule, and we start looking at your photos. Now, most of the time, I can work with what you've got. We may have to look at a few of them before we find one that you like, and two that I feel I can work with. Some of the things I look for is good contrast, natural lighting, eye level to your pet, and good focus. There's only so many details I can make up, so I need some clear focus in there. And then after that, I may crop it. Now, like this one, this is not the whole photo. I did zoom in and crop and compose it so that it was pleasing, helped focus in on the important details. And then I get to work. Something like this, turnaround time would probably be about a week, depending on what's going on. Like right now during fair season, if I'm out a lot, it may take me a little longer. I generally don't like to work on commissions at a fair, just because it's a little too nerve-wracking. I will work on my own portraits or projects that are in my queue, kind of thing. So internal projects rather than commissioned work. But let's see, if it's a soft pastel portrait, say an 8x10, I like to take a little longer for those. And that could be anywhere from 5 to 8 weeks. So if you're looking to do something like that, especially around the holidays, do give me a good bit of lead time, as my spots fill up pretty fast and I don't take any more than I can do. Now, if I get them done earlier, I will put the word out and take more. Where was I going with that? I don't know. But that's kind of the deal on that. Same thing with, so water-soluble graphite. Same thing. Charcoal sometimes takes a little longer, sometimes not, but usually about the same time. But that's the deal with that. And then once it's done, I package it up nicely for you and hand it off. If you are local to Columbia, I include delivery in the price. If it needs to be mailed, then that's something we would work out ahead of time, so that that price is included, or that cost. I have mailed soft pastels to other states. Like I mailed one to Texas and California, and they did just fine. One of them was not framed, and the other one was. The one to California was framed, and it made it just fine. There is a way to package that up so that should the glass break, it does not harm the art. But it can definitely be mailed to you. Of course, the sketches don't cost that much at all to mail, and depending on how fast you want it, right? If you want to overnight it, yeah, that's gonna have some cost. lighter value shapes in here. This also needs to be darker. One of the tips I found for working like this is doing the water sketching in the opposite direction that I did the graphite in. And I think that just accentuates the hatching that's there. You can also follow along with the surface that you're trying to create. And sometimes that gives a nice bit of detail and information without adding a whole lot of detail. Part for me at this size is trying to not do the details until I have these values in. But doing so gives me a very realistic outcome, which is what I'm going for. All right, Luca is starting to come into view. I'm looking at this, I'm thinking maybe I should have done it a different way. But usually, I just need to give it more time. I'm a very impatient person. So, it's also the first time I've used this particular paper. So that's also part of the process. Oops. Here is the end result of my work. I didn't get the colored part on video since it happened here and there while I was working on the projects the next day, but I wanted to share a little bit about it. I used Derwent Graphitant pencils. Here's what they look like. For the color part, layering just like I did the others and using the water brush to activate the pigment. For the highlights, I used Doc Martens Bleed Proof White. You could also use white gouache if that's what you have on hand. This is just what I have on hand. As I mentioned in the beginning, I'm hoping to do more portraits like this to help raise awareness for shelter pets, and your support on my Patreon would make that possible. I'll put links in the description for Luca and my Patreon page below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.